Hello, I've got a BMW X5 that has an intermittent fault in the right brake light where sometimes it'll be fine, sometimes it'll mark as out. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this assembly out. I think that there's some problems with the metal attachment points. The entry is right in here. Okay, so here's the cavity. There is my attachments. I'm going to take off this nut and this one and up here, and that should bring it loose. We'll also take apart this attachment, which is where the wires come in. There's a clip and it should just pull out. So you squeeze down on that top tab to as a release, and then you pull out like that. So these nuts come off fairly easily. We're using a 5/16 socket. This is a metric car, so we're probably a little bit off, but it seems like it comes off. We just a few turns and then we're able to spin it off the rest of the way with fingers. Okay, from here we can just pull the assembly out. See, does it come all the way out? There we are. So as I'm looking at this board, this is kind of like a circuit board where the electricity comes in on that plug and then goes to the various light bulbs. And I'm seeing that there's some problems maybe up there, and that may be my problem. So I'm going to gently pull off this seal. Could you hold that? Gently pull that off. There. And then we'll take this into the workshop to work on something, and I bet you that's the problem right in there. All right, let's cut. It has this long battery, long bulb holder. The middle is the green one, and this black one is the right, and that one really looks like we got some work to do there. So I'm going to try to clean up here with a little burr tool. I see that it's actually burnt a hole right through there. I don't understand why this is dropped down, whether that's supposed to be that way or what. But I'm going to try to get this all clean. I'm going to fill that in with solder. This area was getting hot. Perhaps there was some water that got in here because there was some moisture. Then I think there was a poor connection. This thing started arcing and making a poor connection. This area heated up. It heated up this plastic support and also this corner here, and the whole thing has dropped down a good. So this entire thing was just flopping loose, and still is. So I've taken hot glue, and I don't know if this is going to be enough or not, but I'm trying to fill in underneath there. Why don't you film that? Fill in underneath there so that when it cools, I'll have some sort of a support platform so that metal doesn't drop down. And I know that the hot glue has a somewhat lower, it does have a lower melting temperature than the surrounding plastic, but I'm hoping if the area doesn't get hot, that it will remain firm. Okay, so I have filled underneath here with hot glue to provide some sort of stability. I have filled in that metal area with solder, and then I've ground off the surface to get a good clean connection. So I'm going to put my bulb back in. I turn it there, and then the green one went in the middle. That one went in, apparently that's the right way. And then this one we'll put in. So now I'm going to reconnect it before I screw the whole thing back in and see if the lights work. So I've just plugged it back in as it's sitting here. So I'm going to go run the car. Okay, turn the right blinker on. Okay, the headlights. And now step on the brakes. Alright, so it looks like we're all good. When I first plugged it up, I think I had a bad connection. I hadn't screwed in the blinker bulb and it was just flashing really fast in the front and not showing up here, but I just wiggled the bulb. So I don't think that was the one that was bad. Alright, so I'm thinking about how water got in there to begin with, and it looks like I have, this foam is all pretty good down here. But when I come up to the top, it looks like it's shrunk and maybe pulled down, and maybe that's where the water was getting in there. So it's almost like this should have been up here more. So, trying to decide what to do about that. So I think I'm going to try to make another layer of sealant. So I had this foam. It's fairly thin. I don't know if it's good enough, but it is. I can at least make it a little bit the proper size. So I'm going to trace around here, stretching that out to the proper size, and then I may be able to bond the two, and that may be a way to hold it to the proper length. So I used this as a template, and I cut out a piece out of this foam, but on this end I stretched it out by the amount that I thought it had shrunk. And I've thought about whether I should glue these two together to keep it, but I'm afraid that this upper one is stronger and it'll just make the whole thing wrinkle. So I think I'm going to leave them separate, and I'll put this one here like this as a first layer, and see that does cover up over there. Then I'll put this one like there, and then I think when it brings up the car it'll seal that so water doesn't go down in there. Alright, so I'm going to go put that back in the car. Okay, so here I'm going to just slide all of this back in. And that, I don't think there's any way I can hold that up there. So I'll just... Okay. So now we'll just need to screw it in on the inside. Ready for testing. Okay, lights on. Perfect. Right blinker. Left blinker, brakes. All right. Okay, so this is a BMW X5 2001 model, which is the E53 chassis. Thanks for watching.